Hi guys, my name is Michael. Welcome back. So in this video, I'd like to bring a few things to your attention. As you guys know, a lot is happening, especially in the crypto space. But behind the scene, a lot is also going on. And you guys know on this channel, I like to focus on what is going on because I believe if you understand what is going on, you can predict what will happen. Now, as you guys know, there's been a lot of chatter regarding XRP or Ripple and the SEC. As a matter of fact, last week or so, we heard that the SEC and Ripple were filing this, joint motion and all that. And, I came here and I did a video. I did this video titled "Don't Expect XRP to Move Until This Happens." And in this video, I said something that I believe is very important. I said XRP is not going anywhere until the matter between Ripple and SEC have been resolved, right? And based on that joint motion that Ripple and the SEC filed, right, it gave them up till August, the end of August, to submit some sort of report. And in my own opinion, right, based on that, I just forgot about XRP. Basically, I just said, you know what, I'm not going to look at XRP till August because I understand fundamentally that XRP is not going anywhere until the Ripple and SEC case has been fully resolved. So I just put XRP on one corner. Do you get what I'm saying? But today, something major has shifted. Something has shifted with XRP, and I'm going to show you. I'm telling you what has shifted with XRP. Now, based on this shift that I have seen today, a lot is going to happen as we move further down, right, into next month with XRP. So I'm going to do a more elaborate video about this, what has happened, how this will affect XRP and how to position for, to capture what is going to happen in XRP. But that video is going to be in the membership section. So if you want to be a member of this channel, you can just, hit the join button here and join, and you will be able to get my other exclusive content, like what I'm doing, to maximize the market, the crypto market, to maximize, what's this thing called? I just forgot now. To maximize profit in the crypto market. But let's go back to talking about what has shifted with XRP. So like I said in this video, I said XRP is not going anywhere until that issue with the SEC is resolved. But about 10 months ago, I did a different video 10 months ago. And in this video, I talked about the fact that there's a strong man over XRP, and that strong man is Ripple. Part of the reason why XRP has not gone anywhere is not just the SEC, it's also the company called Ripple. And in this video, I stated here that, in the future, we're going to see a decoupling of Ripple from XRP. And because a lot of people do not understand the level of control that Ripple has and want to have with XRP. And, in one of the videos I did in my membership section talking about XRP, I said it is very important that the retail investor have a certain amount of control over XRP. It is very important. Do you get? Important even to God that the retail investor has a certain control over this project XRP. But I did a video on that in the membership section and all that. So let's talk about what has shifted. As you guys know, that joint motion that Ripple and the SEC filed has been denied by the judge. Now, what was this joint motion about? As you guys know, last year, there was a ruling on the case between the SEC and Ripple. And in that case, there were two important things that the judge, did there. The first one is that the judge imposed a fine on Ripple, $125 million. The second thing the judge did was to put a permanent injunction on Ripple from selling XRP to institutional investors. Now, that injunction that was placed on Ripple is the best thing that could have happened to any retail investor holding XRP. It is very important to understand that injunction and what it does, the ripple effect of that injunction, right, for the retail investor. Very important, and I'm going to explain this in another video. But those were the two things that came out of that case last year. So the joint motion that the SEC and Ripple filed, right, one of the aims of Ripple was to, first of all, reduce that fine from $125 million to $50 million. And the second thing that Ripple was seeking to do was to permanently remove the injunction imposed on Ripple's future institutional sales of XRP. So Ripple wants to continue selling XRP. Now, if you take a look at the initial lawsuits, the case, the bundle that the SEC filed against Ripple, one of the things that the SEC alleged against Ripple was that most of the money that Ripple use for operation comes from sales of XRP. So most of the, Ripple's income comes from selling XRP, and all that. So it's very selling of XRP to Ripple is very important. It's very important, and that's something we must understand. So we saw a statement from the SEC Commissioner, Caroline Crenshaw, regarding this Ripple case. And the commissioner was not in favor of removing this injunction from Ripple. Now, if you take a look at this statement here, she says here that, on the parties' cross motions for summary judgment, the court found that Ripple's institutional sales of XRP constituted an unregistered offer and sale of investment contracts in violation of Section 5 of Securities Act of 1933, but that other secondary offer sales did not. So in that summary judgment, the judge said that Ripple's sale to exchanges did not violate Section 5 of the 1933 Act, but their sales to institutional investors violated that act, and that is why she placed an injunction there. And so the SEC was arguing that they are not in support of removing that injunction from Ripple. And you can see here, she said, this is not a settlement I can support. So she's not going to support a settlement where the injunction will be removed from Ripple for the sales of XRP to institutional investors. So if you take a look at this here, it says, if, however, Ripple decides tomorrow to sell unregistered XRP tokens to institutional investors in plain defiance of the court order, the commission will do absolutely nothing about it. So what we know is that this injunction is going to remain on Ripple. Right? It's going to bar Ripple from selling XRP to institutional investors. So it means that Ripple can actually sell XRP to exchanges, right? But they cannot sell to institutional investors. And this puts a dent on Ripple's business model. But it also, puts a blocker on one of the sort of the control that Ripple was hoping to have over XRP, both now and in the future. And like I said, this is good for the retail investors. All right, so what has changed today? So, like I said in that video, I said nothing will happen until Ripple and the SEC, until this Ripple SEC case is dropped. So we saw today that Brad Garlinghouse on Twitter, look at what he said here. He said, Ripple is dropping our cross appeal and the SEC is expected to drop their appeal as they have previously said. We are closing this chapter once and for all. And that is the most important word, since the creation of XRP in 2012. This is the most important statement that we have seen, and this changes everything for XRP. He said, we are closing this chapter once and for all and focusing on what's most important, building the internet of value, locking. So it's important to understand that things have now changed for XRP. The trajectory has now changed. Ripple is dropping the cross appeal. The SEC is expected to drop the cross appeal. According to what Brad Garlinghouse is saying, this SEC Ripple chapter is going to close. So standing on the word that I said in that video, that until the SEC and Ripple matter is closed, XRP will not reach its full potential. So if you do the math, if this matter is now about to close, it means that we're about to see XRP move. We're about to see XRP move, right? And so this is something that I want you to pay attention to. This is a big change. As like I said, for me, previously, before this statement from Brad Garlinghouse, I was not going to do anything with XRP until August, right? But based on this now, and this is why we're not just stuck in our ways. We are looking at the market. We're looking at things as they're changing. You have to change with things as they change because things are moving really fast, right? So based on this statement from Brad Garlinghouse, I have received my confirmation, the signal that I have been waiting for. And so I am going to be doing certain things, right? Like I said, I'm going to be positioning in a certain way, right? Based on what I believe is going to happen next with XRP. Do you get? So this is something that we must understand, that something major has shifted with XRP. Something major has shifted. So guys, I'm going to leave it here. Like I said, I'm going to do another video after this, and it's going to be in the membership group, and I'm going to talk more about what this means. Do you get what the injunction on Ripple means for the future? Remember, Ripple holds over 40 billion XRP token. What is going to happen with those tokens? How is that whole thing going to pan out? And what the effect of that injunction will have on retail investors holding XRP. I'll talk more about that in the membership section. But anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it here now. This video is just to bring to your attention that something major has happened with XRP. Something major has happened. All right, guys. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys in another video. Remember to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you like videos like this. And also, if you like to know more about what I'm doing, please, take a look at the membership group. It's like $4.99, I think, a month, really just a cup of coffee, and you're going to get, insights, get more, exclusive content, and you're going to be able to see our portfolio and what I'm doing, in the membership section. Anyway, guys, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Have a good day. Bye for now.